students, today we are going to see developmental patterns among animals, a brief survey. And first type of reproduction we are going to see is asexual reproduction. Asexual. A means absent. What is absent? Sexual reproduction is absent. Then what is happening in asexual reproduction? First, we are going to see its definition. It is a type of reproduction that does not involve the fusion of gametes. We know that in sexual reproduction, it requires the fusion of sperm with the egg. That type of fusion is not happening in asexual reproduction. That means the new daughter individual is forming from a single parent cell. So, from a single parent cell, two daughter cells are forming in asexual type. Sexual, to become sexual, it requires two parents. From these two sperm and egg to come, they need to fuse. So, such type of fusion is not happening, not taking place in asexual reproduction. And also, there is no change in the number of chromosomes. And where this type of asexual reproduction are usually found, it is primal. It is a prime means of reproduction in the case of unicellular organisms like archaea and bacteria. But in the case of eukaryotic organisms also this type of reproduction exists. Especially in the case of some plants, animals and fungi. While coming to vertebrates, a type of asexual reproduction exists there also. There the method is parthenogenesis that we will see later. Then we are going to see what are the types of asexual reproduction. First one is fission. Okay, fission, it is simply a binary fission. Binary. Bi means two. As a result of that fission, two daughters are forming. Two daughter cells are forming. Okay. Let's show its image. This is binary fission, single parent cell, and its nucleus and the cell both divide simultaneously. Here we can see that it start to divide simultaneously and resulted in two daughter cell. Identical daughter cell. That is important. It is identical daughter cells are forming here. This is about binary fission. It's clear. It's very simple. Next we are going to see multiple fission. Multiple here multiple. That means more than two daughter cells are forming here as a result of fission. This picture is shown here. The parent cell, and inside the parent cell, the nucleus undergoes several rounds of mitosis, several rounds of division to form multiple nuclei. Multiple nuclei along with some portion of cytoplasm. And later that parent cell break and releases all these multiple daughter cells. So that is multiple fission. Clear? Next is about budding. Budding is another type of asexual reproduction in which new organisms develops in the form of an outgrowth or a bud. And how that bud is forming due to cell division at one particular site. Here the picture is showing about hydra, and this is parent hydra, and from its body a small bud forms first because of cell division at that point, and later that bud grows and attain the morphology of the exact parent hydra. On attaining that fully formed hydra's morphology, it buds off from the parent hydra and become an independent hydra. This is the process of budding. It is a means of asexual reproduction. And in budding itself, there are some other process called the internal budding. Internal, as the name implies, internal means here that bud is forming internally. And this type of budding is shown by so many organisms And here we are taking the case of a parasite named Toxoplasma gondii. I will show you its image. This is Toxoplasma gondii. This is a unicellular protozoan which can cause toxoplasmosis in human beings. And during its life cycle, this internal budding is observed. And what is internal budding? I will explain to you. Internal budding means as this protozoan enters the body of definite host, it is cat. Uh, that protozoan through budding develops so many spores inside its body, and later this spores comes out by rupturing the parent cell. This is the process that happened in the case of Toxoplasma gondii. This is an example for internal budding. Vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is another sexual reproduction method found in plants. Here, plantlets are forming from leaf-like structures. These plantlets are miniature plants itself. What is plantlets? I will show you in an image. These are the plantlets. They are developed from leaf-like structures of the plants. This is also a type of vegetative reproduction, vegetative propagation. And also from rhizomes. Rhizomes also new plants will emerge. Rhizomes, this image I will show you. Rhizomes are certain stems of the plant. From that stem, roots are emerging, and later new tiny plants also will develop. These are vegetative propagation that we can see in plants. Next is spore formation. It is usually found in non-flowering plants. It starts from a diplotic stage, that is the sporophyte stage, spore bearing stage. It undergoes meiosis, and as a result of meiosis, it resulted in the formation of haploid spores. Haploid spores are forming here. Okay, and later this spores grown to multicellular gametophyte. That multicellular gametophyte is haploid. Okay, and this from this multicellular haploid gametophyte, haploid gametes are forming. Haploid gametes are forming. And from among these haploid gametes, male gamete and female gamete fuse together to form a zygote. And later this zygote again develops to a diploid sporophyte. Okay, this is the cyclic process of spore formation, and here we can see that meiosis happens to the sporophytic stage, and fusion, that process is occurring is happening after that gametophytic stage. That means for telling a complete sexual reproduction, both meiosis and fusion should takes place in same generation. But here the meiosis takes place in sporophyte, and the fusion takes place in gametophytic phase. That means in separate generation. So this type of reproduction we can call it as, in other ways, alternation of generation. Alternation of generation. Why? Because meiosis and fusion occurs in separate generation. And this type of spore formation we can see in the case of some fungi and algae also. But in those conditions, those cases, instead of meiosis, mitosis is happening, and the resulting spores are called mitospores. Resulting spores are called mitospores. Okay, later this mitospores develops into new individual. Okay, this is about spore formation. Next is fragmentation. What is fragmentation? Fragmentation means, as it implies, New organisms are usually developing from fragments of the parent. Whenever the parent get fragmented, each fragment can develop into a new individual, new organism. Examples, in the case of animals, this type of fragmentation type asexual reproduction can be seen in planarians and some annelid worms, including polychaetes and some oligochaetes, turbularians and sea stars. While coming to the plants, in the case of liverworts, this type of asexual reproduction, fragmentation type asexual reproduction takes place through gemme formation. What is gemme? Gemme means they are actually certain cells or a group of cells, or it is in the form of some bud. Sometimes it is in the form of bud, and later it will detach from the parent and can grow into or can develop into another organism. So such type of reproduction also present in the case of liverworts. In the case of lichens, and here it is shown the picture of gemme in the case of one plant, and in the case of lichen simply it is a symbiotic association between algae and fungi. We know that. So to ensure that symbiotic association, the next generation they undergo asexual reproduction through simple fragmentation of its body. So this is about fragmentation. With this we can finish today's section. In the next section we will see parthenogenesis. Okay, thank you.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the Benz.